Not a day goes by when I don't realize how blessed I am to work at a ballpark, in and around and covering the game that I love. You might say it's a family business. Hi there, everybody. My name is Darren Sutton, and this is The Call. Take yourself back to your childhood when you loved the game of baseball. You dreamed of being a big leaguer. You imitated your favorite player's stance. You had the trading cards out, maybe trading 2 for 1 all-star. But as you got a little bit older, you realized how truly difficult it was to earn a major league uniform. Our stories will focus on the most important and pivotal moment in the life of a professional baseball player. The day that they, well, you might say, the day that they won the lottery, when all the hard work, blood, sweat, and tears finally paid off. We'll hear from 3 players as they describe that very moment and how they shared that moment with family, friends, and loved ones. The day that all of their dreams came true. The day they got the call.
6 o'clock in the morning, my trainer, Bob Grimes, from the AAA Cubs, came to my door and knocked on it and said that to get ready that I'm going to pitch for the Chicago Cubs against the Houston Astros today at 1 o'clock.
My aunt and uncle, Owen and Roberta, were in town with my mother. They brought my mother out from Ohio to watch a series, and on the off day, they wanted to see the Grand Canyon.
I was laying in my bed in Scranton, Pennsylvania. We had a 1:30 game that day on a Sunday, and my phone rings. I didn't quite get to it.
As a minor leaguer, you've got to be ready to move at any moment. You might be vacationing with your family or even in your hotel room when suddenly the phone rings.
I thought it was a joke at first. I thought they were just kidding around with me, you know, and I thought that wasn't a very nice joke, to be honest.
On the way back, it was nighttime. We were driving. We had the radio station tuned into a Phoenix station that we could get a signal with on our AM radio. And I heard this announcement that 2 of our Phoenix Giants have been called up to the big club.
The message goes on to say, you know, Chris, this is John Russell. Give me a call back when you get a chance. We got some things we got to talk about. And that was where he left it. And I'm thinking to myself, what did I do wrong?
There are instances of players learning about their good fortune from the unlikeliest of sources.
So I'm listening through the static and the stations kind of in and out, and I heard him mention Bob Tuff's name, one of my teammates, a left-handed pitcher. And then I thought I heard my name.
He said, well, you better hurry up because 6:45 there's going to be a limo to drive you 3 hours to Houston and you're going to pitch at 1 o'clock. And I just, as soon as I closed the door, I just ran in and called my family and told them the news and told them to pack up and they got to get there. And my dad said that there was no possible way that, with the time frame, you know, that they could get there by 1 o'clock.
When I called him back, he right away said, you got to pack your bags, you got to come to the stadium, you're going to Philadelphia. And I was like, what are you talking about? Honestly, 0% registered at this point. It took him 3 or 4 times to explain it to me, and I understood what he was saying eventually. But at the same time, when that call came, I wasn't activated. I was going there on what we in the minor leagues call a holding pattern, which happens quite a bit. Guys go to the big leagues and just in case.
When your number is called, you've got to make it to the park by any means necessary. After all, the team is counting on you.
So I just was calling some friends to tell them that I was going to be pitching, you know, that I made it. And one of the friends, Chad Marshak, he's actually my trainer in the off season. He said, I've got to be there. I've got to come see it, and I've got to get your family there, your folks.
And I looked at my wife, and she looked at me, and I said, did they just say my name? And she says, I think they did. So, pedal to the floor, we're hauling ass back to Phoenix now.
I call my wife, tell her the story, try to calm her down from getting too crazy and excited. And while I'm talking with her, my call waiting rings, and it's Ruben Amaro Jr., the assistant general manager, and right away he says, we had a guy retire, and you're actually on the roster. And I was like, wow, just like that.
So what do you do? Who do you call first? So many people have shared in your minor league days, now you've just hit it big.
I said, well, Chad, there's no possible way. And he said, well, there is. I've got a couple buddies with a private plane, and I'm going to beg them until they can't say no. And he called me back in a half hour and said at 10 o'clock they're going to meet at the airport, and they showed up in the second inning to watch me pitch.
I got back to my apartment and I called my manager, Rocky Bridges, and he said, where the hell have you been? They're waiting on you in San Francisco. That was that was how I found up that indeed I did get the call to the big leagues, and after that it was just kind of a blur for the next 48 hours.
All my family that I would needed to have called were pretty much in the room at that one point. So she tells everyone, and everyone's going crazy, and my daughter, this is a good part of the story, is my daughter, who was in the room, yells out and gets everyone's attention, "Mommy, Mommy," my birthday, which was 5 days prior to this date, that's what I wished for when I blew the candles out of my birthday cake, was for Daddy to get to the big leagues. And when my wife told me that story, that's the first time a tear came down my eyes. I was excited and I was getting close, and to hear the emotion of my wife's voice almost got me, but when she told me that story right there, I lost it. That was definitely a story I'll remember for the rest of my life.
Things that seemed impossible only hours before start to come to fruition. The gamut of emotions is experienced by the player: happiness, excitement, and even trepidation. You need people you love by your side. Baseball is played on a field of dreams, and for these players, wishes do come true. As you could see, all of our stories on The Call share a very similar theme. It starts with the call to the major leagues, but then the goal is to stay. Nobody wants to come to the big leagues for just a cup of coffee, though one sip is better than none at all. After an amazing debut, Ryan O'Malley with the Cubs ended up injuring his arm and landed on the disabled list. For more than a decade, Chris Coste toiled in the minor leagues, finally had an impact in the big leagues, has a chance of making the Philadelphia Phillies next spring. Bob Brenly, 9 years in the major leagues with the San Francisco Giants behind home plate, and he managed the Arizona Diamondbacks to their first ever World Series title. It's dramatic, it's real, it's baseball. I'm Darren Sutton. Thanks for watching The Call.